Hi everyone, my name is Ben Davis. I'm giving a speech for professional communications class, and tonight's speech is a persuasive speech. So I'm going to be persuading you in taking more math classes. That's right, you heard me correctly. Take as much math as you possibly can in your college career. It will only help you develop problem solving skills that will actually translate into real world problem solving. I think the majority of people don't like math, don't like to think about doing math. They kind of equate it to like leg day at the gym, right? So nobody likes to do leg day. That's why you have all these buff upper body people walking around on twig legs. But if they do leg day, then they get stronger. The legs get stronger. The more they can squat, maybe the faster they can run, the farther they can walk. If they're in karate, maybe they can kick harder. I don't know. But developing math skills and going higher in math classes does the same thing. The stronger you get, the stronger your problem solving abilities get. I want to talk about my story first. So I never had algebra in high school. Somehow I graduated, but I never had algebra. Anyway, I went to work after high school. And for 9 years, I worked at a mine, and it was incredibly hard, backbreaking manual labor. And I decided that's not what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I wanted to go back to school and do something different. But first, I had to take an entrance exam before I could go into college. And I scored really high in English and writing, never had any issues with those topics. But in the math portion of the entrance exam, I scored extremely low because I never had algebra in high school, right? So I was forced to take basic algebra and intermediate algebra before I could even go into college algebra. And I did it. But by the time I got to college algebra, I found that I was actually liking math. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. So after college algebra, I took trigonometry, and after that, I took calculus and then calculus 2. I just enjoyed it. And then not long after I got out of school, I was at work as an instrumentation technician, and I was installing a new level sensor that read the level of a chemical tank. So you kind of have like a chemical tank here, and I was installing a level sensor that was looking down at the inside the tank to tell the level, and I had to know what angle to mount this level sensor at to make it as accurate as possible. Well, I was able to calculate the angle because of skills that I learned in trigonometry, right? And I was like, wow, this is super cool. I was able to solve a real world problem by skills that I learned in math class. And I think beyond that, though, higher levels of math will also teach your brain not only how to solve math problems like that, real world math problems, but also it teaches your brain how to approach problems from different angles, to understand the different pieces, parts of the problem, and how they affect each other. An example of a math formula that illustrates this is like your quadratic formula, right? Everybody remembers the quadratic formula from class. I'm sure you do. It's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Lots of pieces, parts in that math problem, right? And you have to kind of look at it from different angles, understand the different parts and pieces of it, and how they affect each other, order of operations, and all that, to be able to solve it. Well, as I was saying, higher level math also teaches your brain, because you're learning how to approach that problem and understand the pieces, parts of it, and how to solve it. Your brain actually learns how to solve other problems like that, right? So, say you have a production facility that has numerous pieces of equipment in it, and you're producing widgets. I don't know why we always say widgets, but we always say widgets. And one of these pieces of equipment is continually breaking down, stopping production of widgets. Now, how are you as a floor manager or plant manager, how are you going to solve this? Some of the things to consider when you're looking at this problem is it possibly human error? We're all human, we make mistakes. Is there a human operator that's causing this piece of equipment to break down? Or maybe it's equipment maintenance problems. Maybe it's standard operating procedure maintenance type problems where they're not upkeeping it well, or maybe the maintenance procedures need to be changed, or maybe the piece of equipment is just so old that it's beyond its service life, and no matter how many times you fix it, it's just going to keep breaking down. So one of the things you might also have to consider in that instance is it cost effective to purchase a new piece of equipment to replace it, or is it cheaper just to keep fixing the old piece of equipment? So all of these different things, human error, maintenance, service life, cost of equipment, these are all variables to this problem. And these are all things that you have to kind of look at the different angles, look at all the different pieces, parts of this to try to come up with the right solution to this problem. And that's where all these higher level math classes that you took long ago helped develop these problem solving skills. So that's why it's so important to take math. And like I said, take as much as you possibly can. And in closing, I just want to say, first of all, don't skip leg day. You may have a buff upper body, but your toothpick twig legs won't be able to support it. And don't short yourself on higher level math classes. If it's possible for you to go higher in math, take as much as you can. It not only teaches you how to solve complex math problems, right? It also teaches your brain how to approach all types of problems, to understand how all the pieces, parts of things fit together and how they affect each other in a problem. And in short, it can help you be a world-class problem solver in anything. So thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope I've convinced you to take more math.